So as Mr. Holland said, the children today were absolutely phenomenal when I spoke to them about what we're going to be doing for them next year. And that is an absolute credit to them, but also to you. So I'm going to go through the three main things that we're going to be doing for them next year. I would like to start by just outlining the context that this year group is facing. And we know that sadly they've had to face some challenges this year. They've had 2 lockdowns. We've had in the year group 6 COVID cases since half term, and over 80 of them in year 10 have had to self-isolate at different points throughout the year. So we are very, very aware that as a year group, they've been affected by COVID more than perhaps other year groups. However, we also have a lot of positives. As a year group, they're a very talented group of people. They are lovely to deal with. They're enthusiastic and they want to do well. And working with people like that is an absolute pleasure. On the other hand, we've got very highly committed members of staff who are very willing to give up their time at different points throughout the year to help the students. We've got a very strong pastoral team. As you know, we're moving away from houses and into year groups. So Mr. Mason is going to be the head of year, and Mr. Mason will work very closely with me with regards to the attainment and the achievement of the year group. We've completed the end of year exams, and we have done analysis of where the gaps in learning are with this year group. So we know exactly what is it that we need to do with them next year before they do their final exams. As Mr. Holland mentioned, the results are quite encouraging, and that is always fantastic for us to know that our starting point with them is a positive one. However, we do know that we've got gaps in learning, and it would be hypocritical of me to speak to you tonight and say that everything is fine. We do know they've got gaps in learning, and I also know that the best thing I can do for your children is to put them in front of talented members of staff, in front of the teachers who know them the best and care about them the most. So for us, with that rationale in mind, period 6 is the first way in which we're going to be supporting the students. So period 6 is basically an extension of the school day, some days of the week. So the children have got more exposure to the subjects with their teachers. So period 6 will run from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock on 3 nights a week. So we're going to begin with 3 nights. Last year with the year 11s, we started with 4 nights. We had lockdown in between, so that gave the students a break. We are not seeing another lockdown in the future. We think the children will be with us without any disruption from September. So we want to begin with 3 nights a week. So this is just an example of what the timetable could look like for your child. So on a week 1, they could do English as a period 6, then science, and then they will do a history, geography, and languages. So on a week 1, they could do history, for example. Week 2, they do English again on a Monday, then they will do maths rather than science, and then they will do languages if they did history in a week 1. Some students don't take history, geography, or languages, so they may go to art, business, or any of the other options that they take. And exactly the same for week 2. Okay, so that's what a period 6 timetable will look like for one of your children in September. Okay, now period 6 will evolve, so it's not always going to be 3 nights a week. So once we've completed the first round of mock exams in November, we will look at the data again. We will analyze where the students are, and we will expand the period 6 provision, and we will move from 3 days to 4 days. The 4th day is likely to be on the Friday or the Thursday for some students, depending on their options, okay? So we'll increase the period 6 provision, and also within the timetable, we've got the facility of using what we call study skills. So study skills is a period 5 lesson on a Friday that the year 11s take every other week. So although on that timetable you can see 2 Fridays period 5, it's only 1 period a fortnight for the children. Okay, so we've got that capacity within the timetable to also do additional intervention after the mock exams. I did speak to the children today as to why we do period 6, and obviously I talked them through what they've had to face with the school closure, the remote learning, which is never as effective as having children right in front of you in a classroom. I am fully aware that me talking to you now would be a lot more effective if I could have you in the school canteen and I could look at you in the eye. So I know this is not the most effective way of communicating with people, but all of that has resulted in gaps in learning. And that's why for us, period 6 is not really an option. And we talk to them about this is compulsory. And it's not an option because for me, it's not an option that your child doesn't get the best grades they need to do whatever they want to do after the summer 2021. I want them to have the qualifications they need to make choices and be able to go to college, to go and do an apprenticeship, whatever they want to do. So that's why it's not an option. And like last year with year 11s, it's something that we expect all of our students to do and attend. I will say this again because it's quite important, and staff have really asked me to stress this with you. There is a lot of belief in this year group. We think your children will and can do very well, and we are prepared to go the extra mile to put the support in place that they need to recover for all the gaps in learning they've had this year. So period 6 is the first way in which we're going to support your children, but there are other things that we're going to be doing during school time. So the first thing I would like to draw your attention to is the fact that we have employed some tutors who are specialists in their subjects and will be working with smaller groups of people, and the same with our EBAC TAs. So your children are quite used to seeing the EBAC TAs in English, Math, Science, MFL and Humanities, and it gives us capacity for those students who need a more bespoke one-to-one intervention to provide that for them. We will be doing this in slots of 10 weeks in the subjects that you can read on the screen. So if your child has been identified as somebody who needs extra support, they will go into a 10-week program where they will be working more on a one-to-one or a smaller group with a tutor or an EBAC TA. And this will happen during lesson time. So if I give you an example of somebody who may need support with maths, and they've got Mrs. Webster as a teacher, they may come out of one of Mrs. Webster's lesson to work with one of the tutors, an APE lesson once a fortnight to have that more bespoke intervention. We have some of your children, and I can see some of you on the call today, were part of our first online tutoring program that we did with year 10s for English, Maths and Science this year. And we had 30 year 10 students who did some online tuitions. And out of those 30 students, 24 of them have improved their grade in the end of year exam. So we know that tutoring is another very effective way of supporting your child. So I've talked to you about period 6 and tutors and TA support. We've also created an extra class in English and Maths. And that means that all the classes are now smaller than they were when your kids were in year 10. So the number of students currently now in English and maths will be smaller moving into year 11. And that's because we know English and maths are the subjects that all students will need to achieve a good qualification in. And if we create smaller classes, teacher can give more targeted support in school as well. All our lessons begin with retrieval tasks that we call do now. And that's because we know children forget, the brain is designed to forget, and especially with all the disruption the children have had, we know they are going to need constant reinforcement and recall of key information that they should have studied this year or that they did in year 9 as well. You're all familiar with the knowledge organisers. We have done a lot of work with the knowledge organisers this year in preparation for year 11, and they're going to be the best revision guide for your child, but also for you as parents. Is the best tool that you can have to support them, because you can test them on the knowledge from those revision guides. We know that there may be barriers to this, especially to the attendance of period 6 for those students who catch the school bus and go to Barnton. You will be familiar with the fact that we have supported the year 11s just gone with that, and we used our school minibus to take them back to Barnton. What I would really need from you as parents tonight, and I did say this to your children today, if transport is your barrier, if this is your issue, please, please, please send me an email today.
They'll sort that by.
And we will make sure. And we will make sure that we sort it, because we did that last year. I don't want any of your children to feel at disadvantage because you live in Barnton or you live far away from school and your child cannot walk. We will do whatever it takes. The library is open until 4 o'clock. So something that was very helpful for parents last year with more than one child in school was when the year 11s were doing period 6, the siblings went to the library and did homework club, so parents didn't have to come to school twice to collect the students. So please take advantage of that. In terms of next steps, I am going to be meeting your children for 5 minutes next week to talk to them about their current situation in terms of progress and attainment. What is the end of year exam data telling us that they need help with? But also I've said to them, I really want them to tell me what they need. Where do they feel they need extra support, so we can provide that for them? And I did say to them, support may not be just academic. You may need support with your organisation, with revision skills, with your stress levels, anything we can help them with. So I have asked them to be very honest with me when they meet me next week. I am aware that some of you are self-isolating. So if you're not in school, I will have that meeting with you via Zoom remotely, so I can have the information from everybody. Our plan is that period 6 will begin the second week back after the holidays, and that will be on the timetable. So students always know where they need to be. There is no confusion, there is no miscommunication. They know exactly where it is. It will be timetable for them. If you have any questions, please email me. That's my email address. I will get back to you within 2 days, hopefully within 1 day. And I'm more than happy to also give you a call if you prefer me having a conversation with you. I'm going to go through the chat now, if that's okay with everybody, because I can see 10 of you posted different questions. So I can try to answer them. I'm sure this is going to be very helpful for everybody. Once again, apology about the confusions with the timing. When I set up the meeting, I set it up for 6:30. So apologies if the information sent to you has been wrong. Like I said, I will be sending a recording of this for everybody. Okay. So the first question is about Separate science, yeah, that's a brilliant question. So with separate science, what we do is we keep the students for period 6 together as the separate science group. So for a period of time, they will be doing chemistry, then they will move to do physics and then biology. So they will stay together as a group, and the teacher will cater for that. Another question from Wendy is about, will it always be from Monday to Wednesday? To begin with, yes, it will be Monday to Wednesday, and then we will increase the provision to either Thursday or Friday. We will never do a full week. So your child will always have one day when there is no period 6. Okay, if your child doesn't do history, geography or art, they will probably do DT or food technology or a BTEC, so they will get support in that subject. I've already mentioned about the transport. Okay, the question regarding RE, do we consider using the RS lesson within the timetable to offer support? The answer to that is no, and that's because during the RS lesson in year 11, they cover part of the PSHE curriculum, so they do a lot of finances, preparation for interview, curriculum writing, CV writing, and we do have plenty of other opportunities to support them. But I do fully take your point on board. Yes, somebody has raised the issue about Wi-Fi in the school not working very well when some of the students were doing the tutoring, online tutoring from school. I'm delighted to be able to say to you that we've just changed providers for our internet and our broadband, and that will be miles better in September. But I am fully aware that the technology let us down. Yeah, the tutoring, that is a brilliant question. The question is, will the tutoring be offered to children who are perhaps not underachieving massively, but they've got potential to do better and they've been impacted by the pandemic? Absolutely, yes. The children with potential and good work ethic and positive attitude to learning are the people that we want doing the tutoring. And we know that every grade matters and every help will be beneficial for the students. Absolutely. And I'm more than happy to give a ring to these two ladies and discuss your children individually for that, definitely. Yes, you will know if your child is receiving tutoring. The head of department will give you a ring and will explain how that's going to work. Absolutely. I forgot to mention this, but through September, all the way through the academic year next year, you will receive a weekly email from me updating you on year 11s alone. So you will get your normal email from Mr. Holland, but I communicated regularly with the year 11 parents just gone about anything that's happening the following week and anything that you need to be aware of. Yes, the self-isolating students will have a meeting online, definitely. Okay, I'm really sorry that Mrs. Stevens hasn't received an answer about the revision guides. I'll give you a ring and I can talk you through what is the best for the revision guides, no problem. Yeah, we will not overlook the high achievers. In fact, a lot of the work that we did over the holidays, Easter intervention, half-term intervention, it was catered purely to our high achievers, definitely. And we know they have been affected a lot. We are not planning to do any further maths this year because we feel we really need to focus and concentrate on the students, on everything that they've missed this year. Yeah, there will be the option for more support for any student, even if they've already done the online tutoring at school, definitely. Normally we have the same teachers for period 6 that the students have during their lessons, and that's because they are the people that know them the best. Sometimes we don't have enough teachers for the amount of children that we have at the same time. So at that point, we'll have to do that, where we'll share and it'll be a different teacher. Oh, sorry, apologies. I did misunderstood the question. Apologies, Jackie. Yes, so what we will do is if somebody does history, geography and art, they will do history on a Wednesday week 1, geography on a Wednesday week 2, and then the art is something that we will provide during the school time. So that could be the study skills period or one of the PE lessons. I hope I've answered that. Now, if I haven't, please do let me know. Lovely. I think I've answered all of your questions. I am more than happy to stay, and you can unmute yourself, and I can chat to anybody who wants a conversation now. Otherwise, just send me an email and just say, Miss Pena, can you give me a ring in the next couple of days to discuss this further, and I will give you a ring. But I cannot stress enough how well this worked last year for the year 11s, and how we know that part of how well they've done in their tax is down to all the extra support that was put in place and how well they engaged with us, because parents really supported the provision. So if you don't have any other questions, you're very welcome to leave the meeting. I'm going to stay for about 10 minutes to answer any more questions. But thank you very much